Well, hi again, everybody. It is time for the big rivalry. It's coming up on Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. It's the Red Raiders against the Lions. And again, I'm Bill Coates along with Red Raiders head coach Daryl Piskey. It's the 60th meeting between JT and Robert E. Lee. And again, the rivalry dates back to 1958. And the Red Raiders won this time a year ago. Both teams need a win going into this game on Friday night, both coming off losses this past week. Coach, first of all, before we get into real specifics about John Tyler, just in general view, this will be your fourth year to be a part of this rivalry. You were at Fairfield High School, and they had rivals. Everybody's got rivals. How does this one stack up?
Well, it matches up. Just a little bigger fan base, but a rivalry game's a rivalry game. You gotta block out a lot of distractions and focus on the job in hand, and not get caught up in all the hype and just play football. And, difference here, there's just a few more guys and gals in the stands than there was at Fairfield and other places.
Who was Fairfield's big rival? Was it Teague?
Well, Teague was, but Mejia really was.
Okay,
Teague wanted to be, but Mejia was.
Okay, good. And both teams have to be good, and you guys were both pretty good at that time, I guess, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit about just rivalries in general. You played, I think, at Tarleton State, didn't you? Played college football.
Sir.
Who was Tarleton's rival?
Well, really, it was Austin College and Sul Ross, simply because they were the best two teams in the league at that time.
Okay, all right.
And so they, there's nothing in close enough proximity to make somebody a true rival in that. In Marlin, it was Midway. When I was in high school, it was Midway Panthers, and it's everybody's got one.
Well, and to be a part of something like that, first of all, as a player, what was it like?
It's just fun. Just the atmosphere is usually a little more excited than a regular season game or district game or anything, because you see those guys all year long. You want to make sure you get bragging rights for a year.
And as a coach?
Well, as a coach, it's really big. I mean, ask the Longhorns guys that keep losing to the Sooners. They don't have a job very long. So as a coach, it's really big. You always want to beat your rivalry.
What do you remember about last year's game?
Well, I remember we started off slow but finished strong, and the kids stayed focused and played hard the whole game. It was a pretty clean game on both sides, and it's just what you want. You want to knock your opponent's head off in between the whistles. After the whistle, help him up, pat him on the butt, and get ready to go do it again.
And as it turned out, both schools made the playoffs, so in some ways it might have done both schools good. It did you good from a confidence point of view. JT, it kind of woke them up a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it's always good, because you got to learn how to handle a lot of distractions during the rivalry game, just like you do in district, just like you got to do when you reach the playoffs. So it's always good for you.
Now, as a coach, there's a new element to rivalries now, especially crosstown rivalries. It's called social media.
Yeah.
These kids all know each other, right?
Yeah.
And they talk a little smack to each other come along too, don't they?
Well, they tend to, and that's what we're trying to get them to focus on. You just got to focus on the game at hand. Talking happens when the scoreboard on your side's bigger than their side. Just like in our game the other night, late in the game, defense is waving to the crowd, trying to get them excited. If we need the crowd to get excited for us to line up and get a stop on defense, we're in trouble. So you got to get them to forget all that noise talk and just play football.
Have you forbidden your guys to be on social media
well,
this week?
I'm a daddy of three. I can forbid everything and give them all the advice I can give them. They're the ones going to be smart enough to stay off of it.
All right, let's talk. Let's go back to last Friday night. I hate to do it,
yeah.
But the Lufkin game, you guys are up 42-3, 42-10 at the half.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, Lufkin rallied and beat you 52-49 in overtime. That was a kick in the gut for me, and I'm just the broadcaster. I mean, can you describe what that felt like?
Pretty tough to experience. I don't know how many of my friends across the state text me, congrats on big win, and I get a oops 5 minutes later.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Which is funny now. It wasn't that funny when it happened, but you know, here's the deal. You go in and have, number one, you know, some of our guys didn't have a good summer. We're not in the shape we need to be in, you know. Number two is at halftime, you could sense that our guys thought it was over. And so we can tell them like we did at halftime. We said, hey, this ain't a regular old opponent. This is Lufkin. You've never been up on a good football team. You better come out the second half and set the tone so that they understand it's going to be just like in the second half as it was the first half. But, you know, you and I are both dads. You know, my dad told me a lot of things growing up, and over he told me. But until I experienced it, I didn't really believe him. So, I know the good Lord's got a plan, and hopefully it was to teach us a lesson now, not when it's very important.
That happened so quickly in the third quarter, too. You're up 42-10 at the half, and they scored 3 touchdowns in, 6 minutes?
Bam, 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 really quick.
And all of a sudden...
Yeah, when you lose focus, you're not very good. You know, I thought 2 things we got to take from that football game. First thing we better take is we got to stay focused. You know, I told them yesterday after practice, I've never ran the score up on anybody, nor will I ever. So when I put the second team in, I'm telling you, you can relax. But until I put the second team in, I don't think the game's over. And if I remember correctly, our first team was in the whole second half.
Right.
And so they got to learn from that. But then they got to look back and go, you know what, for a half of football against a really good football team, we look like a really good football team. And so hopefully they learned a lesson at the same time realizing our potential.
And it's easy when a game like that to blame the defense, but there's plenty of blame to go around. The offense did not play keep away.
You know, I thought we got a reprieve when we got them into overtime, and then the defense got to stop, held them to a field goal. I mean, that's what you want to do, you know. And so once we did that, then we got to execute offensively and get a touchdown, win the football game.
And that obviously didn't happen. Can you talk a little bit about, I know the frustration with people that say, well, why don't you just pound the football? Heck, I even say that sometimes. Have the offensive changed so much today that it's hard to just line up now and just pound the ball and burn the clock?
Yeah, when it's not your offense. But we do have to slow down. You know, we talked about that as a staff. We gotta understand that's the hardest part of this hurry up offense. Is slowing down. But we didn't have to slow down. We had to execute, and we didn't execute the entire second half on offense. Hence, we scored 7 points, and so you got beat. If we just execute early in the third to set the tone for the third, then we'd have had backups in the game at the end.
The good news is these young people are pretty resilient. Their memories can be pretty short. I mean, is that a good thing?
Yeah.
And do you believe that?
They really are.
That they get over stuff quicker than we do?
Kids are a lot more resilient than adults.
Yeah.
You know, you look at that's what I talk to coaches about all the time is if it's complicated for you and it's your life, when he leaves practice field, he's going to go find him a girlfriend or worry about something else. He ain't worried about that, thinking about that. So they get over stuff a lot quicker. Yeah, it hurts. They're frustrated. They're upset. But, you know, the next day they're out doing what kids do. And so they're a whole lot more resilient than we are.
And after a game like that, that's probably a good thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it was bad.
It's not always a good thing, but after a game like that, it's probably good that they get over stuff, right?
That's right. But the biggest thing, we got to learn a lesson. You know, if we learn a lesson from this, it's not going to happen again. You know, the same scenario.
Red Raiders had over 700 yards of total offense in that ball game. There were a lot of highlights, so let's roll the tape and let's take a look at some of the big plays. Again, remember, 52-49 means that Robert E. Lee rolled up a lot of points in that game, and the Red Raiders, again, had another productive night offensively. There were big plays on the defensive side of the ball, and while we're getting the highlights keyed up and ready to go, Coach, you changed your defense up a little bit this week.
Yeah, we made some little adjustments just to fit the personnel that we got, you know, and that's where our offense had all this yardage in the first half. That's where your summer conditioning comes in, but it also where your depth comes in, because a lot of these guys are on special teams also, and some of them are playing offense and defense. And so without a good summer, they're going to have to keep working and play themselves into shape. This is Zach making a good read here. Got guys blocking off the edge. You look, and that's Dante Johnson hustling his butt downfield just like last week, trying to get a block. Mm-hmm. And Zach doing his thing.
And again, that was right off the bat. And again, you know, in both games you scored quickly. That was less than a minute into the game when Zach scored that touchdown.
Just a little quick pass out here to Tyreek, I believe. You know, with Tyreek in space, if we can just get a body on somebody out there, he's going to be able to make things happen.
Yeah, Tyree Grayson's a senior. He scored on the first play of the game last week against Fossil Ridge.
That's right.
And almost scored there.
Yeah. Another
and
offensive highlight here. Zach on a run and play, doing a good job making people miss and then having the speed to go to the house.
So he had 64 and 55-yard touchdown runs, all of that in the first quarter.
We had about 600 yards offense in the first half, which just shows if we're in shape, we're going to be knocking on 1,000, we win the football game. And you can run all you want these first 2 or 3 weeks of camp, but your summer, you got to have a foundation from your summer. So now we're in catch-up mode. This is a defensive highlight here. Now we can't do that this week where we let that guy outside. Dexter Green does a good job picking that off there, but our contain's going to have to be a lot better this week because Cordell's pretty good and he's athletic, and a little cat this week liable to score on us. We get him out in space.
Absolutely.
Another offensive highlight.
This is Tyree Grayson. This is 70.
Same play we ran a while ago.
Yeah.
This time we had a little more space. Guys got their blocks done better, and he goes scores a touchdown.
This play is called just bubble screen, right?
Yep, it's just it's a numbers game. We're looking at the numbers all over the field. We can throw it either side. We can run it, so it puts defenses in a bind.
When you got a fast kid like that who runs a 4.3, that's
Looking off the edge right there, guys get a good block.
this is Day Thacker.
That was Mason Parker,
Was that Mason
I believe,
Parker
right there.
on that? Okay. Which that's a jet sweep.
That's right. We still, we got to run off of it, we got to pass off of it. We just got to take what they give us.
Mason's a senior.
Good little football player.
Yes, he is.
Same thing here. That's Day, I believe, there.
You're going to drive down here. I think this is the drive where Ajuan Barker scores, I think. But
I think, they got pushed out right here, didn't they?
okay. How about your offensive line, the job?
They were the players of the week on offense.
Okay.
As a whole, they played good as a unit.
Okay, good.
And so, they did a good job. Most of them guys,
Here's the touchdown to
There you
Barker,
go.
by
They
the way.
just, that's what our offense does. They just blown the coverage, didn't even cover him. So, like I say, every play we've got to run or pass. Several people can run the ball. We got several different receivers. Here's defense. Calhoun's probably the best scoop and score guy we got in practice.
He was thinking about that too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was talking on Saturday like he'd have scored, but we know he would have gained about 15.
You think they would have caught him?
Oh, yeah, I'd have caught him. There's a good ball right here. Zach makes a good throw, touchdown.
Touchdown. That's the pass to Day Thacker.
Yep. Again, off of this deal, you can throw it over there, you can throw it over here, you can run it, depends on what the defense gives you. So, they got to line up right, and they got to be sound, and then we got to take where we got the advantage. That's a good ball. Day-Day's a great receiver along with the running back.
Nice play.
Defense here. Oh, we stripped it out. That's why it's a highlight. I was kind of figuring out why they gained 10 yards and we put it on the highlight. Again, that's Day on the reception. And the difference is he's got the speed to go to the house. That sure helps. Zach makes the right read.
Thacker again,
Yeah.
67 yards.
Zach's getting better at understanding the defense and where he's got to go with the ball and where we got the opportunity. They're running old bubble screen here, and I think that's Chris Sims. I'll see it on the top view, but that's a good job of blowing that up. Safety's over the top for the pump. That's how you play it. We better be ready for it this week. Another offense, same play as earlier. Got a good block off the edge. That's probably Mason Parker, unless we came from the back.
Is this second half action?
Probably. Or probably not. We had so much in the first half, I don't think we saw much in the
the
second
point
half.
being that you still were able to move the ball the second half, but penalties were killing you
Got
in
some
the second
penalties.
half.
And I'm telling you, that's just loss of focus at the halftime. That's a good catch there. I can't tell who made it. I think it's Dante, but I'm not sure. No, that's Tavon Wesley.
Who is just a very all around.
Just all around good player, gets after it. Didn't have that great a second half. Now that's how you play football right there on defense. So it's probably the first half. Everybody fits, we come up, take quarterback, take pitch, option responsibilities. Once again, Zach makes the right read.
That was a second half run. This is Devon Wesley in the second half.
Yep. You can tell it's second half run because Zach didn't carry his fake out like he did in the first half.
Yeah. Is that just fatigue, you think?
Yep, 100%. He admitted it. Now he's got to fix it. Our special teams did a pretty good job all night. Once we got, Blasa kicking it where we needed him to kick it. Pretty good return by Mason, getting vertical. We've made some changes on that this week to get some guys. You got too many guys that's not touching the sole. So we're just trying to find, 10 guys that if I ain't got the ball, I'll go get on somebody and hit them in the mouth and let them guys run back there. That's Mason Parker on the return. See how many white shirts are unblocked? That's why we only get to the 32. Back on offense. I think we're back to the first play, aren't we? Yeah.
Is that the touchdown run?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't remember him doing that twice.
Could have
In the
used one
second
of those.
half, we could have used that.
Could have used any one score. Heck, any one first down. Position in the right spot would have sealed the deal.
That's right. First 5 to 7 minutes of the second half, that controls the tempo of the second half and the attitude of the second half.
And the overtimes, overtime is I like the high school and college overtime rule.
It's fun.
I like it. I think it's fun. You won the toss, defer, which is what you're trying to do, right?
See what you got to do when you get the ball.
Right, and you held them to a field goal.
That's right. Defense got to stop. I thought we got a reprieve at that time from the good Lord, helping us overcome our ignorance. But, then we get a penalty and back us up, and then I think we got it to 3rd and 6. And, we make our read. We got a play called. Got a backup kid, had to go in it back. He wasn't supposed to get the football. Zach made his read and was trying to pull it, and he just rips it out of Zach's hand, runs around the edge and fumbles and gets back on it. And then we got to throw the Hail Mary, which I still, we had a chance to catch that football.
Right, yeah, Ajwan Barker's taller than everybody else.
He's got great hands, and he can catch in a crowd. DB just made a great play. Really, if we'd have thrown it just a hair sooner or a hair flatter, and he don't get there and Ajwan catches it, but, wasn't meant to be.
You also got a reprieve right at the end. I love Coach Quick and Lufkin. They do a great job. They had a little clock management issue
that's right.
at the end of regulation.
Right.
They tried to get their field goal unit out there with the clock running down and couldn't get the play off.
Yeah,
and
but
so
we got to make stops. I think it was we had a 4th and 5. I think on about maybe the plus 45 yard line. We decided to punt it. And, that was when they drove down to tie it up, and we got to get a stop in that situation. But, Day Thacker came in, played safety. We had some hurt. We had some cramping, and, Day hadn't played a whole lot of safety all year. But he did a good job coming in, making that tackle, saving that touchdown, and then, of course, they ran out of time.
You talk about your players of the week. Your whole offensive line named the player of the week.
Yeah, they did a good job. On defense, it was Mikhail Sanders.
Right. Safety.
And played safety, played an excellent football game. And then special teams was Chris Bloss putting the ball where we need it, and Cameron Holmes made some big plays on special teams.
Cool. All right. Well, that offensive line, let's give those guys. They don't always get a lot of. You know them.
Yeah.
You just may not know their names. So let's talk about who those guys are right now.
Well, we got Jerry Viella at center. Devon Morgan's over at the right guard. You got Santos Perez, who started out at center. We've moved him to tackle. On the other side, you got Clayton Breckel at that guard, who I left off. You got Jordan Jones, you got Xavion Gardner, Viella. See, I don't even know their names.
Well, but that.
But anyways, those guys, I know Breckel and Jordan Jones are battling for that spot. Santo Perez and Gardner at the tackles, and then you got Morgan at the guard and Viella at center. hopefully I got them all named now.
Yes, well, word about Clayton Breckel. He's a young man who has been in the program. He played on the junior varsity last year as a junior.
Prime example.
And he has kind of stayed after it.
That's right. Never whined, never moped, never
Yeah.
went down there. He just went down there and got better, and now he's starting on the varsity.
Now he
as a
started on the
senior.
varsity.
That's right.
So that's a great lesson about
Yeah.
perseverance. I know Coach Holmes and I've talked about the same thing on this show. He's had a ton of juniors play on the junior varsity. And they may not like that very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
You know, it's not Friday night lights, it's Thursday
right.
night lights.
Yeah, that's right.
But you can, if you make the most of it, you know, that senior year could be
Yeah.
pretty good.
If your program has numbers, you know, and you should have about 50 seniors every year at our level, once you get that, you have a bunch of JV kids playing on as juniors on the JV. And so they're getting game time. They're not up standing on the, you know, sitting on the sidelines on Friday night. Then when they get up there the next year, you should have a bunch more juniors on the sub-varsity and about 50 more seniors up on the varsity. And that's when you really know you're rolling at this level.
A 6A, you're the last of the 6A programs. How many young men should you have in the total program, 9 through 12?
Well, you'd like to have, you know, 240 to 280. You know,
Okay.
a lot of them have 300 plus, but I'm just looking at where we are and what we got. The key is about 50 seniors a year, because if you can have somewhere around 100 freshmen a year through attrition and kids quitting and changing, you know, going one sport and all that.
Moving and
all
yeah.
that. You get down to about 50. If you can keep 50 seniors every year where we've been, you know, low 30s, if you can have 50 seniors every year, then your program's in good shape.
What's the numbers like in the program right now to give you?
They're around 200 or so.
Okay, so you need about a 15% increase,
Yeah, that's
really.
right,
Would
that's
would
right.
be about where you would love to have 20% increase.
Yeah, that's right.
In football.
You're going to make me have a math
I know,
test.
no, I'm not going to
just
do that
want
because I
about
don't know if I can do it.
250.
Okay, I don't know if I can.
But
do
yeah,
it either.
we need somewhere. The big guys have 250 to 300 kids in their program. If
What
we
does
get,
Allen have?
oh Lord, they got more than 300. I promise you, they send about 450 through their summer conditioning every
Right.
day. So
Okay.
they got a bunch.
Before we talk about JT, there was an incident in a high school football game in San Antonio on Friday night. You probably got national attention. San Antonio Jays playing Marble Falls. End of the game, Marble Falls is winning, I believe. And the two San Antonio Jay players clocked intentionally.
Yeah, it wasn't. in
Ran
doubt.
over the umpire.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ugly. They've both been kicked out.
Yeah, that's right.
You ever seen anything like that?
Never. As an adult, you know, it'd be hard to not get in trouble yourself for not killing those kids, you know, getting on their
Right.
tail. And really, that was pretty bad. I saw it last night. Somebody was talking about it, so I went and found it last night and watched
Yeah.
it, and it's pretty bad.
Look, I understand it's easy to, you know, get mad at the officials. I get that, you know. I mean, I just don't agree with you, but I get it. I mean, you know, if you're losing the ball game, trying to blame somebody other than yourself,
Yeah.
where the blame should be.
Yeah, that's right.
But is there any, do you even think about giving those kids a second chance in a situation
No, that's
like
pretty
that?
blatant.
I mean,
really,
that's
it was
that.
dirty.
Would it be hard? Is that a no tolerance type situation?
Yeah, I mean, you can't not. I mean, those guys got it. They're going to be gone. You know, because kids do stupid stuff all the time, but that's like criminal.
It is
bad.
criminal.
Yeah.
And the officials are generally, you know, they're guys at least in their 30s typically, and in some cases 40s, and even my age, you know, their 50s,
Yeah.
and they ain't wearing pads.
No, that's right.
And they're not in that kind of shape. They don't. You knock them over, they get hurt.
Well, that explains the state. I don't know the program, don't know where they are, but you know, they're probably not winning a whole lot of football games because you know, with kids' mindset and character like that, it's going to put them in a bind. Anytime there's, you know, crunch situation, that's what we try to teach our kids. You know, you got to win with dignity, you got to lose with dignity. You're trying to teach them about life and how you respond in life, and you know, you're not going to do that in real life. You'll end up in jail.
Okay, let's talk about JT. Darrell went to also. They've shown signs of being a really good football team, but like you, they haven't really been able to put the whole game together yet. What do you see with the Lions so far?
Well, somebody's going to put it together this week, and you know, that's the thing is, like I say, they got the skills. Their skill. You know, they're fast. That little quarterback, he's going to get better and better. Really reminds me of Zach Hall as a sophomore. And so I think if you look back that year, Zach might have had 15 touchdowns and had 11 interceptions. So he's going to, you know, things are happening a lot faster than it did on freshman football. And so he's going to get better and better. I hope starting, you know,
Starting next week,
I hope he looks like Johnny Unitas. But this week, I hope he struggles again. But they're good, you know. Their D-line, their O-line, watching them live Saturday night over watching them in Longview. I mean, they're decently thick guys, and they get after it. D-line, of course, you know, you got Pierre and you got Braylon. two really big, solid bodies that get after it. Their linebackers are young, so they're going to get better every week. So, you know, they got all the pieces in place, and they're going to be really good. And like I say, we don't want them to be good this week, but they're going to be because it's our rivalry. And, you know, you look back, I think the year before I got here, Lee won one game. They beat JT, who went to the semis.
Yeah.
And so records doesn't, you know, they don't matter at this point. It's who goes out Friday night, ignores all the bull, and just plays football.
Yeah, I remember that year. That was Lee's only win.
Yeah.
Was against John Tyler. It was kind of a shock to a lot of folks, and JT went on to do really, really good stuff. So, you know, you look at those guys, and you know, they always have speed. They have some big guys, but generally their characteristic is fast over size.
Yeah, that's
typically.
right.
Is that not
have a lot of
a fair
speed.
statement?
Yeah, and most people will take fast over size, you
Yeah.
know, on the football field. I don't know if you want it in a sumo wrestling match, but in the football field, you'd like to have those fast guys.
And they're ball hawks too. Their secondary guys traditionally
They do a good
have
job.
forced turnovers.
That's
So
right.
your passing game, your guys are going to have to be on
Yep.
alert because they are taught to
They're
high
gonna-
point the ball and
That's
go
right.
get it.
They're going to break too. They got good footwork. They're quick. You know, they're going to stick a foot and recover in a hurry. And so, you know, when Zach throws the ball, he's got to be accurate and he's got to be on time. If he throws it late, it'll be, you know, they'll be running back the other way and their fight song will be playing.
That's right. You want your fight song
Yeah, that's
playing,
right.
More
Yeah,
than
yeah,
theirs.
that's right.
Is that a good way to judge how the game's going?
Well,
Count the fight song?
I don't normally hear them, but I know they play them. I usually hear the opponent's horn going off, but other than that, I don't hear a whole lot.
You really don't want to hear Big John, their JT fight song. You don't want to hear that a lot.
No,
this
that's
week.
right.
Okay. What about injuries? Dexter Green banged up.
Pretty
in
good.
the
He's got a little
game?
AC sprain, so he's day to day. He was getting checked out today. You know, other than that, that's about it. Just normal football stuff.
Again, just put a rivalry like this in perspective. When you've been a part of something like this and you have it at other levels, you know, what's it like to be a part of it?
Well, like I say, it's fun, but the most important thing is kind of like homecoming week and stuff like that. You got to learn to ignore the distractions. And, you know, growing up in life, you'll notice that guys that talk a lot, you're not real scared of them because they're just talkers. But that guy that stays quiet and then hits you in the mouth when the fight starts, you know, that's the guy I'm pretty scared of. And so if I'm talking noise all week, then I wouldn't be worried about, you know, if I'm the opponent, I'm not worried about them. They're too busy talking noise. And, you know, so hopefully we can ignore all that and just focus on our job at hand. We just want to get better as Red Raiders because after this rivalry game, we start district with Saxe next Thursday night. And so we got to improve on what we screwed up last week. And then we can start talking about, you know, of course, first goes city championship, district championship, playing in December. So everything's right there. But, you know, you got to take care of this one to get better for the next one.
And again, it's non-district for both you guys, and it's the final non-district tune-up, and you're both 0-2. So, you know, you want to get better, but also to win a game like this.
Yeah.
What would it mean going
Well,
into
I mean,
district?
Just everything's better when you win, you know.
Yeah.
Just your psyche, a little pep in your step, everything's, you know, food tastes better and everything. So
Wife cooks better,
wife,
right?
Well, hope
Didn't you
none
tell
of
me
them got
that on the
wives.
radio last
My
week?
wife cooks good all the time, just in case she ever watches this, which she don't. But anyways, yeah, everything's better when you win.
What do you expect? High-scoring game? Because both teams are pretty high-scoring.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm gonna hope not. I gotta expect
You'll take
it, but-
3-0 as long as you get the 3, right?
Yeah, I'm expecting, you know, I just want to see our guys get better than they were last week. And defensively for a half, we played like a championship football team. Now let's do it for 4 quarters and see where we are.
All right, the Red Raiders again are the designated visiting team on Friday night. JT will be the designated home team. So you Robert E. Lee fans, you'll be sitting on the visiting side this week. The game, of course, kicks off at 7:30 at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium, and it is the 60th meeting between the two. And it is the night that we honor the 5 new members of the TISD Athletic Hall of Fame, and that'll happen before the game. So that'll be a great thing as well. Look forward to seeing you at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium for a great matchup on Friday night. Thanks for joining us.